Today in the crypto space, we've seen some green price action. Bitcoin hitting that $59,000 level, up approximately 5%. Ethereum right around $2,500, doing pretty good, trying to make these altcoins deep in the green. Solana, XRP getting a nice bounce after a nice lawsuit win. Near Protocol, Polkadot, and many others deep in the green for today. However, guys, the concern is this just a dead cat bounce before we continue to the downside, or are we finally going to be trekking to all-time highs in price discovery? In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that has been showing a lot of strength at the bottom of the range, and that project is called ALEPHIUM. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. Market cap is rising slightly. Really good, obviously, back above the $2 trillion mark. We went slightly below it for a little while there, and now we're back above, looking pretty good. We see a little bit of the market cap grinding upwards, but what bothers me is the overall trading volume. You know, without trading volume, it's hard to get bullish here, because the reality is there's not a lot of market participation. You know, like if there is market participants, you know, the order books are very thin. There's not much happening, which means there's not enough volume coming in. We need more volume. We need more tokens. We need more coins being bought and sold on the market. And as we see the market cap rise, we want proof that the market cap is rising based on volume. And there isn't much volume, unfortunately. So this is where I kind of feel a little bit hesitant in putting too much, you know, interest or confluence into this rise up. Bitcoin doing pretty good, no doubt. I'm bullish. You know, yesterday's longs, short-term longs were deep in the green, very good, taking profits right now as I speak. Ethereum doing pretty good. We have Solana doing great. BNB doing good, up 3%, not too bad. And as we scroll through the market, yeah, we're getting a bit of relief. Altcoin doing pretty good, 14.4%, grinding upwards. So we're finally seeing some of these altcoins get out of the slumps, pretty much. Now, the question is, once we start breaking critical levels, could the FOMO, could the fear of missing out, actually bring in volume? And guys, that would be great. No doubt. The problem is that a lot of us will be like, dang, I missed the bottom. I could have caught the bottom. So the question is that, you know, what should you be doing on these bottoms, right? The reality is that when you see those deep retracements, those red days, those fearful days, you should be DCing. You should be buying a bit of a bag just in case we do get the FOMO eventually and start running to the upside. However, guys, reserve some capital just in case we do come down and back test that low, because we haven't got a confirmation low on the bottoms. We saw the price fall very drastically across the market in the last, you know, 3-4 days, and then all of a sudden we're seeing a nice rise, no doubt, with low volume. However, guys, what about if we do see the market come down for a confirmation low? That would give you the second opportunity to be buying in on the cheap. Now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that we're going to make a lower low. It doesn't mean that we're going to make a double bottom. You know what, it could be that we make a higher low and continue to the upside. Maybe we won't touch those bottoms that we've had before. However, guys, you'll at least be able to buy on a dip and be able to accumulate at lower levels. And I think that should be the objective at this current moment. Now, as we continue moving up, what should we be doing? Guys, look for those bottom dwellers. Look for those charts that haven't really moved yet. We have BitTensor moving 13%. This thing's taking off. We have Filecoin kind of taking off as well. It's up 8%. We have, what else we have? We have VeChain not doing much at 5%. Okay, it's not bad. What else do we have? We have Sui doing great, 15% to the upside. So that's a mover today, definitely a mover. We have Maker doing okay. Injective, okay, not so much. Maybe Injective is the call for for today. Maybe we start looking for those ones that, always showed strength, but now are not really doing much. OP, maybe it's even the Ethereum based projects. I know a lot of people think Ethereum is, pretty much dead, but in my opinion, the largest ecosystem out there is not going to die unless all the ecosystem dies. Guys, Ethereum is still a beast, and I feel like ultimately, to be honest, prior to this dump, Ethereum has been showing a lot more strength than even Bitcoin for that matter, given that it didn't make a lower low. It just made its lower low, right? Bitcoin has been making lower lows for a good time, and many other altcoins have been making lower lows before. So we have to understand that ultimately, even the sentiment has peaks and valleys. I feel like right now, the Ethereum sentiment is in a valley, right? What do you do when you come down into a valley? You buy the dip and you accumulate, and you start realizing that projects do get undervalued when they are in valleys from a fundamental perspective. Now, all of a sudden, what do we have here? We have a lot of these altcoins that haven't yet run, even meme coins, even some OG meme coins like Floki still hanging around at 1.7% to the upside, going sideways. Bitget token, any exchange tokens that you believe in that are up and coming, look at this sideways. Rocket Pool, ETH. Remember when we were talking about the ETH narratives that were running and flying, all of a sudden that they're going sideways, nobody's talking about them. That's a bit of an issue. How about Arweave? Arweave, yes, it's up 6.6%, but look at the structure. It really didn't leave the station yet. So that means that it's showing some strength. Yes, it's getting a bit of green, but what about the actual impulsive move? It's yet to come, in my opinion. And the same thing goes with Thorchain Rune. I remember a few months back, this thing was flying and nobody was talking about it when it comes down, and now it's bottom dwelling, sitting there doing nothing, and nobody's talking about it. So this is one of the things here that the market is sometimes, it doesn't really, it follows too much emotion. And the quicker you can disconnect yourself from emotional buys and emotional sells, the better you will make your decisions. Buy into the emotion, but keep your emotions neutral. Let the market get emotional, but you stay neutral. Look at Phantom. Structurally speaking, not doing much. Bottom of the range, still up 6.1%, no doubt, but still at the bottom, structurally speaking. So you get what I mean? So we do have opportunities, and you can see that the market is filled with them. Now, again, could Bitcoin just be rolling over for that dead cat bounce? We'll be talking about Bitcoin, so let's do that, guys. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. What's going on here with Bitcoin? No, Bitcoin has been showing a lot of strength. In fact, in the last few minutes, we've been tagging the $59,000 level. Got a tad rejection based on the 200 daily EMA. This is my profit-taking zone for my short-term trading positions that were open yesterday, guys. Ultimately, I feel like, Bitcoin at the current moment is showing a lot of strength, but I don't think that the battle's over. I feel like a confirmation low is still very, very possible. Like I mentioned, it doesn't mean that we got to make a lower low or anything like that. It just means that give me some proof that the market is done pushing down, and that, we can confirm this as the absolute low. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail, because I think it's valid. At this point, I think the market is riding on the fact that Bitcoin needs to hold up the market. Given the fact that Ethereum hasn't been doing what it needs to be doing for the altcoins, right? We know that. Now we're going into a big picture Bitcoin, stability. That's really what we want. We want Bitcoin to show us in this time of need that Bitcoin is not going to be falling. And then once Bitcoin proves to the market that it's not going to be falling, and Bitcoin at best goes sideways, that is when, and have been kind of going sideways. You got to admit here, you got to see Bitcoin is not really making, major moves here. We're within a range between 50, maybe 54 to about 70 for a good portion of time here, a few, about 150 days or so. And ultimately, this is a range bound scenario where Ethereum at any moment could start, and the altcoins could start building a bit of strength. People get bored. Capital rotates into other projects because they're looking for volatility, hot new narratives. They're looking for opportunities to grow their portfolio rather than stay within a stable coin. Because you got to admit, unless you're trading the range here, Bitcoin is a stable coin. It's been stable for way too long. If you bought here, or if you bought here, you're still pretty much break even. You bought anywhere within this range, you're not really making many gains. So people are going to start hunting and looking for opportunities, particularly after we get the next impulsive move. When we see Bitcoin run, I feel like people will start rotating for sure. But back here to the local time frame, and you can see that we're doing very well. Even if we close today's daily candle with this green engulfing candle, engulfing the previous candles this way, that is a bullish sign. Let's just keep in mind find that we're approaching the horizontal resistance, which was once support, if we break above it, back test it, confirm it, and spring off of it, guys, that's super bullish. If we come up to this white line and we get rejected off of it, guys, that's bearish. Let's get into lower time frames so we can kind of see exactly what I'm saying here. You can see that we're trekking up very nicely, very a bit of volume into this level, but then after that there's not much volume. Is this enough volume to carry this price action through resistance? I'm not too sure. I'm not too confident about that, but what I am confident about, if we get rejected here and see any type of resistance, it's very likely that we start coming down and we start looking for confirmation lows. And like I said, we don't know where we're going to be forming that bottom. Is it going to be a lower low, higher low, double bottom? What is it going to be? Ultimately, we have to wait and let the price action come to us, and we'll make a decision once we build some sort of confirmation, structural confirmation here at this bottom. Now, if we start looking at oscillators, we start looking at what the market could be showing us, we do see that the momentum is still pushing up to the upside here on the 4-hour, which means that we could get overbought, which means that the price can go up a little bit further in the immediate short term. EMAs are facing down here facing up with green histogram bars here on the 4-hour, which is looking really good. So if you got into any long positions yesterday, such as what I did, I got into a bit of a long on a short-term time frame, scalping to the upside. Guys, time to take a bit of profits. I already have my profit taking orders already in. I'm not willing to take any more risks after this because look, it done very well in a short-term perspective. All of a sudden now we're going to start getting to the thick of things, right? I don't want to be holding big bags or holding a trade with risk, to figure out what's going to happen. I'm going to let the market resolve itself, and then I'll get back in if I need to upon a confirmation or even a bit of a back test. So far so good. Momentum, trend, everything's looking good here on the 4-hour. The daily, on the other hand, are we just getting a short-term little relief where we're getting a mean reversion? Maybe, and then we come down for a double bottom similar to what happened here. This is what I'm more concerned about. If we do get another double bottom, I want to be able to have some capital to buy the dip. And if we don't, all good. I've been DCAing and buying the dips here all last week anyway, so I'm happy about that. Regardless, I do have some capital reserve to deploy, but this is the name of the game, guys. If you deploy all at once, then you regret it if it comes down. If you don't deploy and it doesn't come down, then you regret it that you didn't deploy all at once. So the best way to do it is to be consistent, find a strategy, DCA nice and slowly, and this way you're going to be a sustainable trader for the long term, not relying on luck or probability that is extreme. You want a probability that's going to keep you profitable over time. So it's not bad. Bitcoin's doing good. Markets are doing great. Let's just be prepared for a potential dip. Today, I want to talk about ALEPHIUM just a little bit here, guys, because ALEPHIUM is one of those projects that have been showing strength. Yesterday, I did cover a video on Maple. Maple today is doing great, right? Obviously, we know that some projects, even though we're getting negativity in the market, they are neutralizing that negativity, but at a minimum going sideways. Sideways is good, especially when you're seeing lots of negative momentum, lots of negative sentiment. Sideways is a sign of strength, because upon a sign of bullishness or positivity in the market, you can expect that project is going to pick up really hard because it's been showing strength, even though it should be bearish. I think ALEPHIUM is another one that is in a very similar camp. Yes, it did wick down. I get it. Buy up was really quick and strong as well because of the bullishness. And the fact is that coming down to these levels gave an opportunity for the bulls to buy. And they took the fire sale, guys, and they bought it all up real quick, getting the price action back above horizontal support, which is what we wanted. We didn't want this horizontal to act as resistance here. We wanted it to be a support zone and to give us a right shoulder. Now, I understand the ambiguity that the market has provided us in the last 3-4 days. The ambiguity is that quick dip based on black swan events and the uncertainty, the FUD, and then a quick buy up left that wick right below there that brings us that uncertainty. But we have to understand and define this wick. That wick was just a little bit of turmoil, but however, the overall sentiment right now is staying above horizontal support. You can see that ultimately the market did respond saying, no, we want the price to stay above horizontal support. And now you can see, let's just keep it zoomed out here for a second here on the daily, and then I'll zoom in on lower time frames to give you a short-term perspective, because really the descending wedge was epic, right? We came down with that descending wedge, we broke trend, we broke the wedge, we got our follow through, we got a bit of a resistance line, of course, got rejected, and now we're getting a confirmation low, a higher low. Confirmation lows are what gets us bullish. It gets the bulls deploying bigger bags. It gets the bulls getting active. It gets the bulls getting the confidence that we're not making another low, particularly if we start breaking this previous high. If we break this previous high, which is the neckline of this potential inverse head and shoulders, which means that we're relying on the fact that this is going to be a right shoulder right into here. We're going to go back up. We're going to consider this a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. And if that's the case, guys, we start treating this as the neckline. If the neckline breaks, guys, expect a huge impulsive move straight back up to about $4. That's the target of a descending wedge, which is pretty much the base. You know, $3-4, why not? And at that point, we might see even Bitcoin rally up. We might see the altcoin season begin. We might see so many things happen, because obviously there's a lot of work and a lot of time that needs to be put into this bottom before we actually see it happen. But guys, this is the sign of strength that I'm looking for in a market when there's negativity. Is this holding bottoms, making higher lows, and there's not many projects at the current moment that are doing this. The reality is a lot of projects are slowly dripping down even further below into the abyss of dip discovery, whereas ALEPHIUM at least is holding a higher low and trying to find a higher low bottom right into here. Bullish, bullish, bullish. Now let's quickly look into momentum and oscillators and all of that, and then we'll go on the lower time frame. So you can see the bullish divergence is still in play. We got our follow through and we're confirming it, and obviously you can see the trend in the momentum is so intact still. We saw the expansions basically come up, which is good. The red expansion went straight up and tapering off, where volatility now it came oversold, looking for another impulsive move to the upside. And as this continues, I'm expecting ALEPHIUM to continue showing strength. Now in validation, obviously, is if we break below this low. We break below the low at about $1, you need to get out. You need to be worried. At this point, I remain bullish until we are unless we are above $1, I am bullish. If we break below, then things change, guys. I'm going to have to change my tune. I'm going to have to, figure out what I got to do here, because we're getting into dip discovery. But as of now, my thesis is fully intact. If you look at the trend oscillator, okay, it does look a little bit bearish. I can see that EMA is facing down, red histogram bars, expansion to the downside. However, guys, we've been kind of like, you can see tapering in a little bit, kind of going sideways. I have to remain bearish on the trend, and it's clear that we're still in a bearish trend. But this buy up and getting above horizontal, what we were going to slowly see as we stay above the horizontal, we're going to slowly see the momentum and the trend oscillator taper to the upside as we go sideways and potentially reverse. So I am a little bit ahead of the market here. I'm a little bit of ahead, trying to make sure that I catch this little bottom here, because ultimately I've been DCAing here, here, and here. Now all of a sudden, my overall average is very decent. So it's not like I'm catching a bottom all at once with all my portfolio or a big bag or anything. I'm just saying that on this local time frame, I'm happy deploying a bit of capital here, particularly seeing that this could be a local bottom for a continuation to the upside. That's what I'm looking at. Now, if we get into lower time frames, I think this is a lot more bullish, to be honest. A nice V recovery, a back above horizontal, a back test of horizontal. Okay, maybe didn't touch it yet. Maybe we do come down and touch it. A back test of this horizontal to confirm it as support, and then a spring off of it, guys, would be super, super bullish. Okay, very, very, very bullish scenario. That's a swing failure pattern that, you kind of want to take advantage of, because it didn't hold support before. It came down to sweep liquidity, hunt some liquidity at lower levels, to the point that it tagged this previous bottom and the bit of liquidity at around this level, and it got bought up so quickly that ultimately it came back above horizontal support, and it's looking for that bounce and potentially a continuation to the upside. This is the type of setup that I like. Both on the daily it's looking bullish, and both on the 4-hour it's looking bullish upon this retracement. And then when I reflect on what's happening in the general market, I can honestly say that ALEPHIUM is showing us so much strength in negative times that, there's a lot of potential positivity out of the thesis. So I have no choice but to deploy a little bit of capital and a DCA. You can see we came oversold in every single way here on the oscillator, on the momentum, and finally moving to the upside to get overbought. The only thing that I can say is the volatility is pushing down. Wait for volatility to get oversold here on the 4-hour, the orange line, get it oversold, and then go long based on the volatility going to the upside. And that would mean that it's very likely we see momentum get overbought as well, going for the next impulsive move. So if you start looking at the price action, impulsive move, retracement, impulsive move, that's what we're waiting for, is this retracement to be ended, and then finally go for another impulsive move to the upside. And that impulsive move might bring in the FOMO. And that impulsive move, if you think about it from a market-wide condition, may bring in the FOMO on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. And ultimately, that's where you start to see real capital being deployed, because the emotions start to kick in. And here at the bottom, we've been deploying capital. So far, the trend is looking okay. EMA is facing up, green histogram bars, everything's still okay. So you can kind of see that the daily and the 4 hours in a bit of conflict, no doubt, regarding trend, but you can see that the daily could be dealing with a trend reversal based on what's happening here on lower time frames. So we're trying to hunt the bottom based on lower time frames, position ourselves accordingly based on lower time frames, and DCAing on all the lower time frame, indications of support and, bullishness. Not too bad here, guys. If I've offered you any value here in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Join me live tonight at 8 p.m. EST. I'll be taking requests on any projects you may want me to cover. I'll definitely put them in top priority. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.